welcome again. I'm Patrick Thomas, and this is Respections. So today we're at the Yonkers Riverfront Library, and we're here for the Azim Thomas photographic display. This event is in honor of Juneteenth, and there are a lot of interesting photographs which we'll treat you to a sample. It was really well attended, and you'll get into some archiving and how you can archive your own personal photographs. So stay tuned, sit back and enjoy, and look forward to seeing you again. Patrick Thomas from Respections at the Yonkers Riverfront Library.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
Hello, every beautiful people in here. Happy Juneteenth. So this first poem is called, what is it called? Everywhere Rising. It's I wrote this not in response to Maya Angelou's Still I Rise. Is it Still I Rise? Damn. Oh my God. But yeah, I wrote it. Okay. Don't write us down in history. We'll rise out the same jungles, who to root a new spine. You may send enough spells to tarnish our legacy and enslave our minds, but we rise out your kind. Like dust after wind making way through its rocky road, my sassy ways must upset you in ways that upset you deeply. My walk, so top model on every strand of step. A tempered glass moon harboring sun with this certainty of tongue, I'll rise. There's adolescent hope springing into mature beings and pulling on my heartstrings so broken, can't live in this living room of mine. You must want to see me cry, don't you? Tears falling down to my insides. Hands shaking like pain was a relative to my inside. My magic wand, out of its magic, keeping me quarantined, left so tongue-tied. I know my sexiness offends you, but it's no surprise when I dance. Every step sprinkling out diamonds and gigantic rose petals on my inner thighs. See, I rise from concrete. Can't let history shame me or the rain define me and the pain outlive me. A black ocean I'll be, always, always in good company. And when day breaks, I'll be everywhere, rising. So yeah, it was still like that. You can find me on all platforms, Poetry or Soul Poetry on Instagram, SOLOETREE. Poetry everywhere else. I have music out, I have projects out. Yeah, thank y'all so much, DJ.
Thank you for coming, today to be a part of this. So thank you again, and let's give it up. Let's get into it. All right, Azim, how are you feeling?
I'm sitting in the hot chair.
All right.
down, get strapped down.
It's not gonna be that much of a hot seat, don't worry. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, yes. Thank you so very much.
No problem. So we have the amazing honor of sitting today with this iconic documentary photographer who has been documenting over 30 years of Black movements, Black families, Black neighborhoods, Black politicians. For those of you who have gotten a chance to walk around the room and see some of the work, you can see he has shot all of this in film. So today we may have cell phones, but he was shooting in film. You know, you have to do everything manually. You know, set the lighting, set the focus. It wasn't no snap 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the work that you see here is phenomenal. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Can you imagine shooting this in film? All right. He has such an amazing eye for storytelling. He has such an amazing heart for people. So we're going to talk a little bit about how did you get started? You know, what inspired this passion to become a documentary photographer?
I fell into it. You know, I slipped and I fell. No, what really inspired me is the fact that my father had passed away. He died from a massive heart attack. I was with him at the time. And after he died, the relatives came over to the house and they started ravaging the work. Found out that somebody took the pictures that I had of my father, the only pictures I had of him, you know. And I didn't have no pictures to show to my children of their grandfather. And that's what inspired me, because I said to myself, and I made a commitment to myself that was going to never happen again, you know, in honor of him, you know. Because as we sit here today, I have no pictures of my father, you know, and that's what propelled me and compelled me to do what I do. And the rest is history. Then I started going around to different events in the community, you know, whether it be a protest or a demonstration or, you know, a special event in Harlem, in Washington, D.C., you know, and I would just be there. And sometimes you just have to be there. And the rest is, you know, the rest is history. And that's how I was able to capture a lot of my work, you know, through just being there and just going along with the move, you know.
Nice. Okay, so let us know a little bit about who are some of the photographers and the artists that have inspired and influenced your work, and how do you see their impact in your approach in capturing these pictures?
Okay, one of my photographers I give kudos to is James Vanderzee. He was a very famous photographer back in the early 20s and going into the 30s. He inspired me. It was a gentleman in my life that taught me photography. His name was Mr. Ward, okay? And he used to show me, you know, and take me through the motions about taking pictures, and, you know, because he was in the business for about over 60 years. And it moves me today, when he passed away, a lot of his images, don't know what happened to him. That's another reason why I started documenting on history. Because a lot of the historical photographers, a lot of the photographers of the community has been documenting work for zillions and zillions of years, you understand? You find out that they lost a lot of their work. You know, that's why I told you, if you have work of this magnitude, you know, you split it up. You put it in all types of places, like you hide your money. You don't you just don't take a whole bunch of your money, hide it in the corner, you spread that thing. So, spread it around, and that's the key, you know.
Okay, got it. So I would say this, for the next question, tell us about how your collection might help people understand this part of African American history in years to come?
That goes back to when I started documenting. I started documenting in 1996, right after the Million Youth March, you know, in Washington, D.C. I was unable to go to the Million Youth March, you know. And I found a great need for it because I would say a lot of the photographers that I came up with, they started dying, you know, and I hear those stories about, you know, they lost it in the flood, somebody came to the house and threw it in the garbage, and I always said to myself, I'm not gonna let that happen to me, you know, because those are memories that are erased forever, you know, and you can't get that back. Something also, that's my attention, we had the Sandy, Sandy, the hurricane, and I was looking at it on the TV, and this lady, she came back to the scene where everything was devastated, and the reporter asked her, why did she come? Why did she come in? And she told me, she said, oh, I was looking for the pictures. I came looking for the pictures. See, once a memory is gone and you have no recollection of it, it's over. That's why pictures play a very important role in each and every one of our lives. You understand? To keep the legacy for our children's children going on. You know, we might not think much of it after we take the picture, but after that, you know, to document your son or your daughter, your little baby, you know, and just keep a momentum of constantly documenting them. They also will see this when they were infants, from the age of infancy all the way up into a certain age, and when they went to college and, you know, graduating, and they see all of this. They say, wow, somebody in my life took the time to document me, and that's why I have this document. And they can pass it on.
You know, you said something about what inspired you as far as you didn't have any pictures of your fathers, and it made me, of your father, and it made me think about how many people in this room have at least 5 pictures of your parents. If you have more than 5, raise your hand. If you have more than 10, raise your hand. Okay, a little bit less. If you have more than maybe 50 pictures of your parents. Okay, a lot less. So think about the fact that if something happens to any of those photos, is there a legacy, an image of your parents? What about your grandparents? Do you have more than 50 pictures of your grandparents? Okay, we got one hand up. Do we have more than? You have a picture? One picture. Just one.
Just find out one each.
How many people have at least 2 pictures of their great-grandparents? 2, 3 people in the room. Look at that history. I personally don't remember. I know I don't have any pictures of my great-grandfather, and I can think of one picture of my great-grandmother, of one great-grandmother on one side of my family, and that's it. I don't even know what my own bloodline looks like. Think about the legacy and the power of that, you know? So when he says his father passed away and he didn't have any pictures to show his kids, you know, this is the seed that we want to plant in all of you, you know, the importance of this. So let's talk a little bit now about the technical side, right? Documentary photography is as much about timing as it is about narrative. So could you walk us through how do you prepare for a shoot, you know, to shoot a scene that's unpredictable, like an unpredictable environment?
I always do my recon. I go out.
Recon?
Yeah, I do my recon.
Okay.
I go out to a situation and surveil it and find out my ins and outs. You know, how can I get out there? The police puts a certain circle around it, you know, the fences and all of that stuff. I always go there before time to see how it's all set up.
Early.
And yes, early, so I know how to get in and out. And I never put myself into a situation I can't get out of. You know, that's like a rat only has one hole to go into. I'm not going in that hole. I got 1,000 escapes. Because, you know, it doesn't make no sense if you take a picture and you can't develop it.
Exactly. And I can imagine in protests and some of the places that you've been, it has been chaotic and it has been unpredictable in that way.
You know, and as I was saying, I read the people because the people tell you things through their expression and through their emotions. When I go to a situation and it's maybe a volatile demonstration, you know, I look at the face of the people because they tell me, and I read just like you read a book, words on it. I read the people. You gotta get out of there. Oh, something happening over there. Something going on over there. You know, get back. You know, get over this side. Stay out of clear. You know, and you read the people and expressions. I learned how to get into expressions. You know, because people can tell you more about themselves through expressions or what they're going through. A man doesn't have to tell you that he's choking. All he has to do is put his hand up to his neck. A man is having a heart attack. Put his hand over his heart. Right. On his stomach. You know. Read. You gotta read.
That's good. That's good. That's a life lesson, not just a photography lesson. All right. Read the people. Have more than one way in and out. Okay, so let's talk about National Action Network. You have a lot of photos with coverage Al Sharpton and the National Action Network. How did you know, get involved with that?
Well, after the March on Washington, D.C., and that was in 1995, I stumbled up into the National Action Network in 1996 because it was something that was happening always, every Saturday. They had special people coming up there like Michael Jackson, Minister Farrakhan, Johnny Cochran. There was always something going on, you know. And I would take my camera, and now Al Sharpton, all I had to do was be there, and he would bring the people to see the event, and the people that come to see the event, the person was already there, so all I had to do is get a front row seat, and the rest is history. And stay there with my camera and just keep on documenting. And that's how it happens. You know?
I love that. So, you know, a lot of us, we have cell phones, we have digital ways of taking a camera. So with technology continually evolving, how have changes in camera technology impacted your work? And particularly how you tell stories?
Yeah, okay, film to digital. You know, digital is a whole different medium, you know. I don't too much like digital, you know, because you can make a mistake. You can make a mistake and delete your whole file, you know. And film is analog, so you can't, you know, erase that, you know. And I found myself slowly but surely. I do digital, but I'm switching back to analog because that's, you gotta have. It's like going to the library and having a digital copy and having a physical book. The physical book is always there. A digital copy, so many things could happen to that. And being in the world that we live in, you know, things are, you know, disappearing on the digital side. So you always have a physical copy of anything you do, in case if the digital is gone or it gets destroyed. Just like this library, you understand? You know, you got digital files, you know, look at all the hard copies. You know, you could even, this is a hard copy. And people get away from the, you know, and they put all their life in the digital world. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because if the computer break down, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't even know how to count. You know, yeah, I got all my stuff in my files. Come on, man. You know, come on.
More than one place, have them in more than one place.
Hold on.
All right, so what's I love this question. We kind of touched on it a little bit before we, you know, sharing it here, but what have been some of the biggest hurdles that you've had to overcome, both in education and your professional path, and how have these shaped your career?
Well, let me be honest with you. I came up in not too good an environment, okay? And we have a lot of family, came from a broken family, mother, father, mother, and we were going from one place to another like gypsies. And I didn't get too much of a good education. I dropped out when I was in 8th grade. I got into drugs, alcoholism, because my father was an alcoholic, my mother was an alcoholic. And so what I did is I did the best I could, to survive. Okay, I did a stint in prison, and after I came out of prison, that's when I got into photography, and it changed my life, because at the time that I was going through all this, I needed therapy, but I didn't know the therapy that I needed, I was going through all these changes, didn't have nobody to talk to, but we have to start reaching out to one another, and we have to start, communicating, because what I'm going through, you might not have to go through.
Right.
Okay? And that's how we learn from each other and we teach each other, because if I could tell you, don't go out there and do this because you'll go to jail and you'll be in there for X amount of time, and you go out there and do it, that's on you.
Right.
Because I warned you, Give you a good example, and I'm gonna close on this was, it was just, man, and I was in prison already. And he was going to trial, and he had told me he was getting ready to go on trial. And I told him, I said, before you go on trial, try to do your best to get your, your transcripts from your lawyer, and he didn't do what I told him. He came back, and I said, did you get your transcripts from your lawyer? He said, no. I said, oh my God, they just hit me hard. And they gave me 12 and a half to 25 years with no transcripts. So how in the hell are you going to come back from upstate and you don't have no paper? Documentation, pictures.
Preserve the history. Real history. Right? That's important. That's important.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that story. I'll ask you this, just two final questions. One would be, since the theme is Juneteenth, considering that that's what what brought us here today, what is a photograph that you have taken that feels like it captures the essence of the spirit of freedom and resilience?
Well, it's two that I can think of, but it's one that I took in 2000 at the Baby Youth March. It was a shot that I did of Khalil Muhammad. He was a black nationalist, a revolutionary. He was a member of the Black Panther Party, and he had died from what they said, a brain aneurysm. So they say, okay? And I took it, that morning I got up to do the Baby Youth March, and I was stalking him all that day. I was stalking him everywhere he would go. I would take his picture, and I got this beautiful, brilliant picture of him looking up, and it's so inspiring. And I call it Revolutionary Son, not S-U-N, but S-O-N, And he made a great change in my life, and when I look up and I get inspired by that picture, because 6 months after I took that picture, they say he had died from a brain aneurysm in a Georgia hospital. And I cried like a baby, But in order to keep someone's legacy alive, you have to have a part of them. And that picture is a part of them. And I think the Creator, that He allowed me to be there in that particular time to take that picture. And that picture probably went around the world already. But they don't know who shot it.
So
I'm the one.
we gotta make sure people know Azim Thomas and the photos he's taken to help preserve this history. That's another part. I definitely want to encourage, Azim has taken numerous pictures, and now in the day of the internet, some people will take photos of the pictures and they don't give credit to the actual person who has helped preserve the history. So please, in whatever way, use the hashtag, take a picture with him today, let people know, who the man is. And on my part, on my family's part, we're doing what we can to help him as well, because when we say he has hundreds and thousands of historical photos that are just all, jaw-dropping, it really is what it is. So I want to close out with the last question for you, which is, what's next for you? Are there any projects or new directions that you're excited about, exploring in the near future? What do you have coming up?
Well, presently I'm working on 3 photography books. I'm dealing with history. One of them is Man in the Shadow, and that's dealing with the collection that I've done over the past few years, dealing with Reverend Al Sharpton and all the events that he has been around. I've been documenting Al Sharpton like over 28 years. And I've been in different locations where he was at, other than, if you went, South Africa or somewhere, how could you go there, But if it was local, I've been there, And I'm presently putting a book together with him and his movement, okay? And then another book is by James De La Vega. He was a street artist. I met James De La Vega back in 1998. And he was an East Harlem street artist. And what he did is he did a lot of murals all around East Harlem. He used to do chalk marks on the concrete, and he became very famous at that. What I did one day, because his pictures spoke to me, his murals spoke to me, and I went around one day and I documented all of his murals, because I know one day that they were all going to be gone from the face of the earth. So what I did is I documented his stuff, and now, I'm getting ready to do a book on him, with James De La Vega. And it's called The Vanishing Works of James De La Vega. That's why we want you to stay in contact, use the call, or QR code, so you understand, you can keep track of us, okay? And the last book is called What My Eyes Have Seen, and that's dealing with all the historical events that I've covered over the years, highlights of all the historical events that I've covered over the years, and that's 3 books that I'm presently working on, That's why I want you to stay in touch, stay in contact.
All right, okay, so can we give it up for Azim? Take these moments